In the vast magical realm of Runeterra, beneath the surface of champion rivalries and ancient conflicts, lie mysteries that have captivated theorists for over a decade. These whispered possibilities weave through the community like forgotten legends, each carrying fragments of truth that challenge our understanding of this complex world. Tonight we embark on a journey through the most compelling theories that have emerged from years of careful observation and speculation. From cosmic origins to hidden connections between champions, these ideas invite us to see beyond the obvious narratives. As we explore these fascinating possibilities together, allow your mind to wander through the endless corridors of imagination, where every question opens doorways to even deeper mysteries waiting to be discovered. Among the most profound theories surrounding League of Legends lies the question of cosmic origins and the beings that predate recorded history. These ancient entities, far older than the civilizations we know, may hold keys to understanding not just Runeterra's past, but its inevitable future. Their stories intertwine across millennia, suggesting connections that stretch beyond mortal comprehension. At the center of these cosmic mysteries stands Aurelian's soul, the Star Forger whose imprisonment by the Targonians represents far more than simple celestial politics. The prevailing theory suggests that Aurelian Sol's true purpose extends beyond mere star creation. His cosmic forge work may have been the foundation upon which Runeterra itself was built, each star he crafted serving as an anchor point in reality's fabric. The positioning of celestial bodies around Runeterra follows patterns too precise for coincidence, leading many to believe that the Star Forger was systematically constructing a cosmic framework designed to contain or channel forces beyond imagination. This theory gains weight when examining the Targonian aspects and their desperate need to control such immense power. The crown that binds Aurelian's soul represents not just magical imprisonment, but a desperate attempt to prevent him from completing some greater cosmic design. The question remains whether his original purpose was creation or destruction, and whether his eventual freedom will restore balance or unleash catastrophe upon the universe itself. Closely connected to these cosmic forces is Bard, the wandering caretaker whose true nature defies easy categorization. Unlike other champions who operate within the boundaries of Runeterra's magical systems, Bard appears to exist outside conventional reality altogether. The theory surrounding his origins suggests he represents something far more ancient than the cosmos itself, possibly a remnant from whatever existence preceded the current universe. Bard's behavior patterns support this hypothesis through his apparent indifference to mortal concerns and his focus on maintaining cosmic balance. His interventions throughout history consistently serve to preserve the fundamental structures of reality rather than favoring any particular faction or cause. The meeps that accompany him may not be simple magical companions, but fragments of primordial consciousness that remember the universe before time itself began. This would explain their otherworldly nature and their ability to phase between dimensions with effortless ease. The most compelling evidence for Bard's primordial origins lies in his relationship with the Void. While most beings flee from void corruption or are consumed by it, Bard demonstrates a unique understanding of these entities that suggests intimate knowledge of their true nature. He may be one of the few beings who remembers what the Watchers were before their transformation, holding memories of conflicts that predate creation itself. Emperor Azir's resurrection and his connection to celestial magic opens another fascinating avenue of cosmic theory. The precision required to restore life to someone dead for millennia suggests intervention by forces operating on cosmic scales. The theory proposes that Azir's return was not coincidental, but carefully orchestrated by celestial entities who recognized his potential importance in approaching conflicts. The sun disk that enabled Azir's ascension draws its power from sources that transcend normal magical understanding. Its connection to stellar energy suggests a link to Aurelian Sol's cosmic work, implying that Shuriman magic taps into the same fundamental forces that shape the universe. This would make Azir not merely an ascended emperor, but a chosen instrument of cosmic will, destined to play a crucial role in events that will determine reality's survival. The Void itself presents the greatest mystery in understanding cosmic origins. Rather than simply being an external threat, The void may represent a fundamental aspect of existence that predates creation. The theory suggests that before the universe took its current form, existence consisted of both creative and entropic forces in perfect balance. The creation of reality required the suppression of entropy, leading to the imprisonment of these primordial destructive forces in what became known as the void. This perspective transforms our understanding of the Watchers from invading entities to displaced fundamental forces seeking to restore cosmic balance. Their hunger for non-existence represents not evil intent, but the natural desire of entropy to reclaim its rightful place in universal order. This theory suggests that the ultimate resolution of the void threat may require not destruction, but the rediscovery of primordial balance between creation and entropy. The question of what existed before the Watchers leads to even more profound theoretical territory. If the void entities were once something else, their transformation implies the existence of forces capable of corrupting or reshaping fundamental aspects of reality. These pre-void entities may have been guardians of cosmic balance, who became twisted through exposure to pure entropy, explaining their intimate knowledge of reality's weaknesses and their ability to corrupt others. This corruption process may still be active, working on cosmic timescales to gradually transform reality from within. The theory suggests that certain cosmic events and champion awakenings represent stages in this gradual transformation, with each generation bringing the universe closer to a fundamental shift that will reshape existence itself. Kindred, the embodiment of death throughout Runeterra, represents another piece of this cosmic puzzle. Their dual nature as wolf and lamb suggests origins that predate the current universe's conception of mortality. The theory proposes that kindred emerged from the universe's first death, becoming the template upon which all subsequent endings would be based. Their universality across cultures and species implies a connection to reality's fundamental structure rather than simple mythological development. The manner in which different cultures perceive kindred supports this cosmic origin theory. Rather than varying based on local beliefs, their appearance remains remarkably consistent, suggesting an imprint on reality itself rather than cultural interpretation. This consistency implies that kindred exists as part of the universe's basic operating system, as essential to reality's function as gravity or time. Their relationship with other cosmic entities remains mysterious, but theories suggest they may serve as arbiters between creative and entropic forces. Death, after all, represents the natural conclusion of creation's cycle, making kindred potentially crucial to maintaining cosmic balance. Their continued presence may indicate that the universe's fundamental systems remain functional, despite various threats and upheavals. Soraka's fall from celestial grace represents one of the most intriguing examples of cosmic intervention in mortal affairs. The theory surrounding her transformation suggests that her decision to save Warwick was not merely an act of compassion, but part of a larger cosmic pattern that required her presence on Runeterra. Her healing abilities, diminished but not destroyed by her fall, may serve purposes that extend beyond simple benevolence. The timing of Soraka's descent coincides with increasing cosmic instability across Runeterra, leading to theories that celestial forces deliberately positioned her as a stabilizing influence. Her ability to purify corruption and heal wounds inflicted by dark magic may represent a crucial defensive capability against approaching void incursions. The sacrifice of her immortality could be part of a calculated strategy to preserve reality itself through the coming cosmic conflicts. These cosmic theories interconnect in ways that suggest a grand design spanning millennia. The positioning of various ancient beings, the timing of their interventions, and the precise nature of their abilities all point toward preparation for some ultimate confrontation that will determine reality's fate. Whether this preparation represents wisdom or desperation remains unclear, but the evidence suggests that forces beyond mortal comprehension have been arranging the cosmic chessboard for an endgame that approaches with inevitable certainty. The Ancient Ones who shaped the universe's foundation continue to influence events through subtle interventions and careful positioning of key players. Their theories remind us that the conflicts we observe on Runeterra's surface may be mere shadows of cosmic struggles that began before time itself, and will continue long after the last star fades from the sky. In understanding these primordial connections, we glimpse the vast tapestry of existence and our place within its eternal unfolding. Deep within the annals of Runeterra's history lies one of its most haunting chapters, the rise and fall of the Darkin. These god warriors, once revered as saviors of civilization, became the very corruption they sought to destroy. The theories surrounding their transformation reveal connections that stretch across continents and through millennia, suggesting a conspiracy of betrayal and suffering that continues to unfold in the present day. The story begins with Varus, whose incomplete transformation sets him apart from his darkened brethren in ways that illuminate the true nature of these ancient beings. Unlike Aatrox or Rost, who achieved complete dominion over their hosts, Varus exists in a perpetual state of internal conflict. The theory proposes that this unique circumstance occurred not through accident, but through the sacrifice of two human lovers whose bond proved stronger than Darkin corruption. When Kai and Valmar merged their souls to contain the Darkin weapon, they created an unprecedented situation where three consciousnesses competed for control of a single form. This tripartite existence may represent the original state of all Darkin before their corruption, when they existed in harmony with the mortal realm rather than seeking to dominate it. The constant struggle between the lovers and the Darkin weapon suggests that redemption remains possible, even for these fallen god warriors. The incomplete nature of Varus's transformation provides crucial insights into the Darkin condition. His retention of human emotion and memory, filtered through two distinct mortal perspectives, creates a unique window into what these beings lost during their fall. The theory suggests that all Darkin carry within their corrupted forms the remnants of who they once were, buried beneath layers of pain and rage accumulated over centuries of imprisonment. This understanding transforms the Darkin from simple weapons into tragic figures whose corruption stemmed from their noble attempts to save the world from void invasion. Their transformation into weapons represents not just punishment, but a perversion of their original purpose as guardians. The theory proposes that their current form as weapons was designed to ensure they could never again act independently, forcing them to rely on mortal hosts to manifest their power. The connection between all Darkin weapons and the catastrophic event known as the Void War reveals the scope of cosmic manipulation that led to their downfall. Evidence suggests that the Darkin's corruption was not an inevitable consequence of fighting the Void, but the result of deliberate sabotage by forces that sought to eliminate these powerful defenders. The transformation of god warriors into weapons served multiple purposes for these manipulating entities. First, it removed the most effective defenders against void incursion from active duty, weakening reality's defenses at crucial moments. Second, it created powerful weapons that could be wielded by mortal hosts, potentially serving the interests of whoever controlled their distribution. Finally, it ensured that the knowledge and techniques developed during the Void War would be preserved within the weapons themselves, accessible to those who knew how to extract such information. Aatrox, the Darkin Blade, carries within his corrupted consciousness memories of the war that preceded his transformation. His ravings about the end of existence and his desire to destroy reality itself may not represent madness, but rather a desperate attempt to communicate warnings about approaching threats that only he remembers. The theory suggests that Aatrox witnessed events during the Void War that revealed the true nature of reality's vulnerability. His knowledge of the Void's true purpose and the cosmic forces that enabled the Darkin's corruption makes him both a dangerous weapon and an invaluable source of information. The memories trapped within his blade may contain the only surviving record of strategies and techniques that proved effective against void entities. However, accessing this knowledge requires finding a way to communicate with the sanity that remains beneath his corruption. The possibility that some Darkin remain hidden throughout Runeterra in forms that have gone unrecognized opens disturbing avenues of speculation. If the transformation process was designed to create weapons that could blend into mortal society, then other artifacts and objects of power may harbor sleeping god warriors waiting for the right moment to awaken. Ancient weapons, ceremonial items, and religious artifacts across all cultures become suspect when viewed through this theoretical lens. The distribution pattern of known darken weapons suggests deliberate placement rather than random scattering. Each weapon appeared in regions where its unique capabilities would eventually serve specific purposes in greater conflicts. This strategic positioning implies ongoing manipulation by forces that understand both the weapon's capabilities and the regions where they would prove most useful. Cain and Raist represent a particularly fascinating case study in the ongoing evolution of the darkened condition. Unlike previous hosts who either succumbed completely or fought an eternal stalemate, Cain demonstrates the possibility of achieving a synthesis between human will and darkened power. The theory proposes that their eventual merger will create something entirely new, neither fully human nor fully darkened. This synthesis could represent the next stage in the evolution of these entities, possibly restoring some of their original purpose as guardians, while retaining the power gained through their transformation. The shadow magic that Cain wields may serve as a bridge between human and darkened consciousness, creating a form of existence that neither could achieve alone. The question remains whether this synthesis will serve the greater good or create an even more dangerous entity. The connection between darkened magic and the corruption that created the Shadow Isles reveals another layer of this conspiracy. Both transformations involved the perversion of noble intentions through exposure to forces beyond mortal comprehension. The similarities in corruption patterns suggest that the same entities responsible for the Darken's fall may have influenced the events that led to the ruination. The theory proposes that these malevolent forces systematically target civilizations at their moments of greatest strength, using their own power and nobility as weapons against them. The Blessed Isles' transformation into the Shadow Isles followed the same pattern as the darkened corruption, turning guardians into threats and protectors into weapons. This consistency implies a long-term strategy designed to eliminate reality's most effective defenders. Vladimir's hemomantic abilities and his seemingly endless lifespan raise questions about potential connections to darkened magic. His manipulation of blood as both weapon and sustenance mirrors the life-draining capabilities displayed by several darkened weapons. The theory suggests that Vladimir may have encountered darkened artifacts during his extended existence, incorporating their techniques into his own magical practice. If Vladimir's immortality stems from darkened knowledge, his influence over the Empire's expansion and military strategies may serve purposes that extend beyond personal ambition. The positioning of Noxian forces across the continent creates opportunities for the discovery and acquisition of additional darkened weapons, suggesting a coordinated effort to gather these powerful artifacts. The ultimate fate awaiting the darkened depends largely on whether their original purpose can be restored or whether their corruption has progressed beyond redemption. The theory suggests that the approaching cosmic conflicts will require the participation of beings powerful enough to stand against void entities, making the darkened potentially crucial allies despite their current hostility. The possibility of redemption through synthesis, as demonstrated by Varys's unique condition and Cain's ongoing transformation, offers hope that these fallen god warriors might yet serve their original purpose. However, achieving such redemption would require understanding not just the mechanics of their corruption, but the cosmic forces that engineered their downfall. The Darkened Conspiracy reveals the devastating effectiveness of turning heroes into weapons through the corruption of their noblest impulses. Their story serves as a warning about the price of power and the importance of remaining vigilant against forces that would exploit strength for destructive purposes. As new darkened weapons continue to surface and existing ones seek hosts, the question remains whether Runeterra will find a way to reclaim these fallen guardians, or whether their corruption will contribute to the very catastrophe they once fought to prevent. The whispered legends of weapons that dream, of blades that remember glory lost, and of artifacts that carry within them the echoes of cosmic war, remind us that even in corruption, the seeds of redemption may endure. The Darken's fate intertwines with Runeterra's survival, their ancient knowledge and terrible power representing both the greatest threat and perhaps the only hope for victory in conflicts yet to come. Among Runeterra's most tragic transformations lies the tale of the Shadow Isles, where paradise became nightmare through love corrupted into obsession. The theories surrounding this catastrophic event reveal connections that stretch far beyond a single king's grief. suggesting manipulations and influences that may have guided the realm toward its doom from the very beginning. The figure of Viego, the ruined king, presents a fascinating study in the corruption of noble intention. Before his transformation into an undead sovereign of shadow and mist, Viego ruled as a mortal king whose greatest weakness lay not in cruelty or ambition, but in the depth of his love for Queen Isolde. The theory proposes that this very love, pure in its original form, made him the perfect instrument for forces seeking to corrupt the Blessed Isles. Evidence suggests that Viego's connections to other champions predate his corruption, weaving a web of relationships that may have been carefully cultivated by entities aware of his eventual role in the ruination. His interactions with figures from across Runeterra, from Demacian nobles to Noxian generals, created patterns of influence that would prove crucial when the Black Mist began its spread. These relationships may not have been coincidental, but rather the result of deliberate positioning by forces that understood how personal connections could be weaponized. The timing of Isolde's poisoning raises questions about the true nature of the assassin and their motivations. While historical records blame political rivals and foreign enemies, the theory suggests that the poison itself carried properties designed not just to kill, but to create the specific conditions necessary for what would follow. The slow, agonizing nature of her death served to drive Viego toward increasingly desperate measures, each step carefully calculated to lead him toward the Blessed Isles and their miraculous waters of life. The transformation of the Blessed Isles from paradise to nightmare did not occur in isolation, but rather as part of a broader pattern that connects to other catastrophic events throughout Runeterra's history. The theory proposes that the same malevolent forces responsible for the darkened corruption and other magical disasters orchestrated the ruination as part of a cosmic strategy to eliminate reality's strongest defenses. Thresh emerges from this theoretical framework not as a simple opportunist who capitalized on chaos, but as a potential architect of the very catastrophe he appears to have survived. His presence on the Blessed Isles before the ruination, ostensibly as a humble custodian of ancient knowledge, may have been a carefully constructed cover for far more sinister activities. The theory suggests that Thresh spent centuries preparing for the moment when the right catalyst would arrive to trigger the transformation he had long planned. The Chain Warden's intimate knowledge of the magical forces that would be unleashed during the ruination indicates preparation that extends far beyond mere scholarly interest. His ability to not only survive the catastrophic event, but to emerge enhanced and empowered, suggests that he understood exactly what was coming and had positioned himself to benefit from the chaos. The souls he had quietly collected over the years may have served as both sustenance and raw material for the transformation that awaited. Thresh's manipulation of events may have extended to guiding Viego toward the specific magical techniques that would prove most catastrophic when applied to Isolde's resurrection. The ancient texts and rituals that the desperate king discovered may not have been stumbled upon by chance, but rather placed where they would be found by someone driven to the edge of sanity by grief. Each spell, each ritual component, each magical formula could have been part of an elaborate trap designed to ensure maximum devastation. Maokai, the Twisted Treant, represents a fascinating counterpoint to the theories of orchestrated destruction. As one of the few beings who remembers the Blessed Isles in their original state, his perspective on the transformation offers crucial insights into what was lost and what forces were responsible. The theory proposes that Maokai's survival and retention of sanity was not accidental, but rather the result of his deep connection to the natural world that existed before the corruption. His role as the last guardian of the Isle's original nature extends beyond simple environmental protection to encompass the preservation of memories and knowledge that other entities would prefer to see forgotten. The life force that sustains Maokai may carry within it echoes of the paradise that once existed, making him a living repository of information about the true nature of the transformation and the forces responsible for orchestrating it. The theory suggests that Maokai's seemingly futile quest to restore the Isles serves a greater purpose than simple environmental restoration. His efforts to cleanse corruption and restore natural balance may be gradually weakening the magical forces that maintain the Shadow Isle's cursed state. Each tree he manages to heal, Each patch of ground he purifies from the Black Mist's influence represents a small victory in a war that spans centuries. The true identity of the entity that created the harrowing reveals another layer of this cosmic conspiracy. While the event appears to be a natural consequence of the magical energies unleashed during the ruination, the theory proposes that the harrowing's specific characteristics and timing suggest deliberate design rather than chaotic magical discharge. The precise way that the Black Mist spreads across Runeterra, targeting specific regions while avoiding others, implies guidance by an intelligence that understands both magical theory and strategic positioning. This organizing intelligence may not be Viego himself, whose consciousness appears fragmented and obsessive rather than strategically coherent. Instead, the theory suggests that another entity, possibly one that existed on the Blessed Isles before the ruination, uses the harrowing as a tool for gathering information and resources from across the world. Each manifestation of the Black Mist serves not just to spread corruption, but to collect souls, memories, and magical energy for some greater purpose. The connection between the Shadow Isles' corruption and Mordekaiser's death realm opens disturbing possibilities about the nature of undeath and the forces that govern the afterlife. Mordekaiser's knowledge of death magic and his ability to construct an entire realm within the death dimension suggests that he may have encountered the same entities responsible for the Shadow Isles' transformation. His understanding of how to manipulate the boundary between life and death may have been gained through study of similar magical catastrophes. The theory proposes that Mordekaiser's death realm and the Shadow Isles exist as parallel experiments in the manipulation of mortality and the boundary between dimensions. Both locations serve as proving grounds for techniques that could be applied on a cosmic scale, testing the limits of how reality can be reshaped through the application of death magic. The knowledge gained from these experiments may be preparing for an even greater transformation that will affect all of existence. Karthus, the Death Singer, presents another piece of this puzzle through his apparent devotion to death as a universal principle. His philosophy of death as liberation and his role in spreading the influence of the Shadow Isles suggest that he serves purposes beyond his own understanding. The theory proposes that Karthus functions as an unwitting agent for entities that seek to accelerate the collapse of the boundary between life and death throughout Runeterra. His beautiful songs that accompany destruction and his genuine belief in death as a gift mask the true purpose of his activities. Each soul, he claims, each community he destroys through his presence, contributes to a gradual weakening of the forces that maintain reality's stability. The magical energy released through his activities may be harvested by the same entities responsible for orchestrating the original transformation of the Shadow Isles. The relationship between the Black Mist and the Void reveals the most disturbing aspect of these theories. Both forces seek to unmake reality in their own way, with the Void pursuing absolute nothingness while the Shadow Isles' corruption transforms existence into a mockery of life. The theory suggests that these forces may not be opposed to each other, but rather represent different approaches to achieving the same ultimate goal. The Void's hunger for non-existence and the Shadow Isles' transformation of life into undeath both serve to weaken the foundations of reality. The combination of these approaches creates a pincer movement against existence itself, with each force complementing the other's efforts to destabilize the cosmic order. The entities orchestrating these transformations may have planned for the two forces to work in conjunction, using their apparent opposition to mask their underlying cooperation. The positioning of the Shadow Isles, relative to major population centers and magical nexuses throughout Runeterra, suggests strategic planning that extends far beyond the original catastrophe. The Black Mist's ability to reach distant shores and affect regions far from its source implies that the corruption was designed to spread along specific pathways that would maximize its impact on civilization and magical infrastructure. Each harrowing serves not just to spread terror and claim souls, but to establish beachheads for permanent corruption in regions that will prove strategically important in future conflicts. The theory proposes that the Shadow Isles function as a staging ground for invasions that will coordinate with other magical catastrophes to overwhelm Runeterra's defenses entirely. The ultimate purpose of the Shadow Isle's corruption may extend beyond the conquest of Runeterra to encompass the transformation of reality itself into a state where the boundary between dimensions becomes meaningless. In such a transformed existence, entities from the void, death realms, and other dimensional spaces would be free to manifest at will, effectively ending the current universe and replacing it with something entirely alien. The tragic transformation of paradise into nightmare serves as both a warning and a preview of what awaits the rest of existence if these cosmic manipulations continue unchecked. The theories surrounding the Shadow Isles reveal not just the story of one kingdom's fall, but the blueprint for reality's potential doom, written in mist and shadow across the face of the world. In the frozen reaches of the Freljord, where winter never ends and the wind carries whispers of ancient powers, lies one of Runeterra's most complex political and mystical landscapes. The theories surrounding this harsh realm reveal connections that stretch far beyond tribal warfare, suggesting that the eternal conflict between Ice Queens serves purposes that extend into cosmic significance. The relationship between Ash, Sejuani, and Lysandra forms the foundation of Freljordian theory. But their connection runs deeper than simple political rivalry or distant kinship. Evidence suggests that these three leaders represent different aspects of an ancient magical triumvirate, each embodying a fundamental force that was once unified in protecting the world from threats beyond mortal comprehension. Their current conflicts may be the result of deliberate manipulation designed to prevent them from reuniting and reclaiming their original purpose. Ash, the Frost Archer, carries within her bloodline memories and abilities that suggest a connection to the original guardians of the Freljord. Her ability to channel true ice magic, to see across vast distances, and to unite disparate tribes under her banner indicates powers that transcend normal human capability. The theory proposes that her lineage carries the genetic and spiritual inheritance of beings who once served as wardens against cosmic threats, particularly those emerging from the frozen depths where ancient evils slumber. Her marriage to Tryndamere and the political alliance it represents may serve purposes beyond tribal unification. The barbarian king's undying rage and his ability to refuse death itself suggest that he too carries the bloodline of ancient protectors. Their union could represent the beginning of a restoration process, combining different aspects of Freljordian power that were separated long ago to prevent their misuse by malevolent forces. Sejuani, the Winter's Wrath, embodies a different aspect of this ancient protection, one focused on strength through adversity and the forging of unity through conflict. Her harsh philosophy that only the strong deserve to survive may reflect corrupted memories of times when such brutal pragmatism was necessary to defend against existential threats. The theory suggests that her aggressive expansion and tribal conquests serve to prepare the Freljord for conflicts that her inherited instincts recognize as approaching, even if her conscious mind does not understand their true nature. The boar god Bristle, that serves as her mount, may not be a simple magical beast, but rather a manifestation of primal Freljordian power that recognizes her as a legitimate heir to ancient authority. The bond between them represents a connection to the land itself, to the raw elemental forces that shaped the Freljord before human civilization arose. This connection grants Sejuani access to powers and knowledge that she does not fully comprehend, driving her toward actions that serve cosmic purposes beyond her immediate understanding. Lysandra, the Ice Witch, presents the most complex and potentially dangerous element of this triumvirate. Her immortal existence and her intimate knowledge of the Watcher's nature position her as both guardian and potential traitor, depending on interpretations of her ultimate loyalties. The theory suggests that her original betrayal of her sisters and alliance with the Watchers was not born of ambition or corruption, but rather represented a desperate gambit to gain the knowledge necessary to eventually defeat these cosmic entities. Her centuries of service to the Watchers may have been an elaborate deception, allowing her to learn their weaknesses while positioning herself to strike at the crucial moment. The magical techniques she developed through exposure to void energy, the power she gained through her transformation, and the strategic positioning of her followers throughout the Freljord could all serve the ultimate purpose of destroying the very entities she appears to serve. The true nature of the Watcher's imprisonment reveals another layer of cosmic manipulation that extends far beyond the Freljord's borders. These entities were not simply defeated and bound by the ancient Iceborn, but rather trapped in a state that allows them to gradually influence reality while remaining technically imprisoned. The theory proposes that their current state was designed to serve their purposes better than complete freedom would, allowing them to corrupt and manipulate without risking direct confrontation with cosmic forces that might oppose them. The gradual weakening of their prison may not be an accident of time or natural magical decay, but rather the result of careful planning that spans millennia. Each generation of Freljordians, each tribal conflict, each use of true ice magic contributes to the slow erosion of the bindings that hold the Watchers in check. The theory suggests that the Watchers orchestrated their own imprisonment to serve as a slow-acting weapon against reality itself. Orn, the fire beneath the mountain, represents a fascinating counterpoint to the ice-focused magic that dominates Freljordian theory. His role as a creator god whose forge shapes reality through the crafting of legendary artifacts suggests connections to cosmic forces that predate the Watcher's arrival. The theory proposes that Orn's withdrawal from mortal affairs was not born of disgust with his followers' wars, but rather represents a strategic retreat while he prepares weapons and defenses for conflicts that will determine the fate of existence itself. The artifacts that emerge from Orn's forge carry within them echoes of primordial power that could prove crucial in confronting cosmic threats. Each weapon he creates, each tool he shapes, represents not just superior craftsmanship, but a piece of reality's defense against forces that seek to unmake existence. His collaboration with mortal smiths and his willingness to share techniques may serve to distribute these defensive capabilities throughout the population, preparing them for conflicts that will require every advantage. The mystery of what lies beneath the howling abyss opens one of the most disturbing aspects of Freljordian theory. The bridge that spans this seemingly endless chasm may not simply cross a natural formation, but rather serves as a seal over something that must never be allowed to emerge. The battles that take place on this bridge, the magical energies that flow through its structure, and the ancient guardians that are said to watch from the depths, all suggest that the abyss serves as a prison for entities even more dangerous than the Watchers. The theory proposes that the howling abyss contains the remains of failed experiments in cosmic manipulation, beings that were twisted beyond recognition by exposure to forces that should never have been unleashed. These entities exist in a state of perpetual torment, their screams creating the winds that howl through the chasm. The bridge above serves not just as a crossing, but as a complex magical seal that prevents these horrors from escaping into the world above. Volibear, the relentless storm, embodies the wild, untamed aspect of Freljordian power that refuses to be controlled or channeled by mortal ambition. His role in approaching cosmic conflicts may be more significant than his apparently savage nature would suggest. The theory proposes that Volibear's rejection of civilization and his embrace of primal chaos serve to maintain balance against forces that seek to impose unnatural order on reality. His storms may serve to cleanse the Freljord of corrupting influences that seek to weaken the region's defenses. Each lightning strike, each howling gale, represents a defensive action against subtle manipulations that would prepare the way for cosmic invasion. His apparent opposition to his brother Orn may mask a deeper cooperation, with each god serving different aspects of a unified defense strategy. Enivia, the Cryo-Phoenix, possesses knowledge and perspective that spans geological ages, making her potentially the most informed entity regarding the true nature of Freljordian mysteries. Her ability to witness the rise and fall of civilizations, to observe the slow changes in cosmic forces, and to experience death and rebirth provides her with insights that no other being possesses. The theory suggests that Enivia knows far more about Runeterra's ultimate fate than she reveals, carefully guarding information that could either save or doom the world depending on how it is used. Her periodic deaths and resurrections may serve purposes beyond simple renewal, allowing her to travel between dimensions and gather intelligence about threats that exist beyond normal perception. Each rebirth brings with it knowledge gained from realms adjacent to mortality, information about cosmic forces and their plans that she must carefully consider before acting upon. The possibility that the three sisters' conflict serves a greater purpose opens the most optimistic aspect of Freljordian theory. Rather than representing a tragic division of power, their eternal struggle may maintain a delicate balance that prevents any single aspect of Freljordian magic from becoming dominant enough to attract unwanted attention from cosmic predators. Their conflicts generate the magical energies necessary to maintain the seals that hold back ancient threats, while their competition drives innovation and strength that will prove crucial in approaching battles. The theory suggests that their eventual reconciliation and reunion will coincide with the moment when their combined power becomes absolutely necessary for reality's survival. The timing of this reunion may be predetermined by cosmic forces that understand exactly when the three aspects of Freljordian guardianship must merge to face threats that no single leader could confront alone. The eternal winter that grips the Freljord may not be a natural climate phenomenon, but rather a defensive measure that preserves the region's magical properties and maintains the conditions necessary for ancient seals to remain effective. The cold serves as both weapon and shield, creating an environment where cosmic entities accustomed to warmer dimensions find it difficult to manifest their full power. The theory proposes that ending the eternal winter prematurely could trigger catastrophic consequences that would affect the entire world. In the frozen wastes where ice never melts and ancient powers stir beneath glacial depths, the fate of not just the Freljord but all existence hangs in the balance between three queens who may hold the keys to salvation or doom. Their choices in the coming conflicts will determine whether the ancient guardianship of the frozen realm continues to protect reality, or whether the eternal winter gives way to something far more terrible than any mortal cold. Within the gleaming walls of Demacia, where golden banners flutter in endless parade and the ideals of justice and honor shine as bright as polished steel, lie shadows that may run deeper than any citizen dares imagine. The theories surrounding this bastion of righteousness reveal potential deceptions and hidden manipulations that could transform the kingdom's noble facade into something far more sinister. The figure of Jarvan IV presents one of the most disturbing possibilities in Demacian theory. The crown prince who ascended to leadership during troubled times may not be the same person who originally bore that name and title. Evidence suggests that the real Jarvan IV died or disappeared during his captivity in Noxus, and that the man who returned to claim the throne represents something else entirely, wearing the prince's face and memories. This theory gains credence through subtle changes in the returned prince's behavior, his uncanny knowledge of information he should not possess, and his ability to navigate political complexities that previously challenged him. The magical techniques required to create such a perfect duplicate would be beyond most practitioners, suggesting involvement by entities with access to reality-altering power. The question remains whether this replacement serves Noxian interests, cosmic manipulators, or some other agenda entirely. The implications of a false king ruling Demacia extend far beyond simple political intrigue. If Jarvan IV is indeed an impostor, then every policy decision, every military strategy, every diplomatic alliance forged under his rule serves purposes that may directly contradict Demacia's stated values. The kingdom's recent actions, viewed through this lens, become pieces of an elaborate strategy designed to weaken the nation from within while maintaining the appearance of strength and righteousness. The positioning of Demacian forces, the timing of military campaigns, and the selection of allies and enemies all take on sinister implications when viewed as the products of hostile manipulation. The theory suggests that the false king has been gradually preparing Demacia for some catastrophic event that will neutralize the kingdom as a force for stability in the region, leaving surrounding nations vulnerable to whatever cosmic threats approach. Silas, the Unshackled, presents another layer of complexity in understanding Demacian magical theory. His sudden manifestation of incredible magical power, his intimate understanding of Petricite's properties, and his ability to rally mages across the kingdom suggest connections that extend beyond simple imprisonment and awakening. The theory proposes that Silas's powers were not naturally awakened, but rather artificially enhanced by entities seeking to destabilize Demacia through magical revolution. His connection to ancient Demacian magic runs deeper than official histories acknowledge. The techniques he employs, his understanding of how magic interacts with the kingdom's defensive systems, and his knowledge of hidden magical sites throughout Demacia indicate access to information that should have been lost centuries ago. This knowledge may have been implanted in his mind by forces that understood exactly how to weaponize Demacia's own magical heritage against its current political structure. The revolution that Silas leads serves multiple purposes beyond simple liberation of oppressed mages. Each act of magical rebellion, each demonstration of power that Petricite cannot contain, gradually weakens the psychological foundations upon which Demacian society rests. The theory suggests that this systematic erosion of confidence in traditional defenses prepares the population for acceptance of alternative power structures when the current system inevitably collapses. The true purpose of Petricite and its relationship to the world runes reveals perhaps the most significant aspect of Demacian theory. This magical stone that forms the foundation of the kingdom's defenses may not simply absorb and neutralize magic, but rather store and redirect magical energy for purposes that remain hidden from most observers. The vast quantities of Petricite incorporated into Demacian architecture could represent an enormous magical battery charged by centuries of absorbed spells and enchantments. The positioning of Petricite structures throughout the kingdom follows patterns that suggest deliberate design rather than simple architectural preference. These patterns may form a vast magical array designed to channel accumulated energy toward a specific purpose when the time comes for activation. The theory proposes that Demacia itself has been transformed into a massive magical weapon disguised as a defensive system, waiting for the right moment to discharge its accumulated power. The connection between Petricite and the world runes implies that whoever designed Demacia's magical defenses possessed intimate knowledge of cosmic forces and their potential applications. The specific properties that allow Petricite to interact with magical energy while remaining seemingly inert suggest artificial creation rather than natural formation. This artificial origin raises questions about who possessed the knowledge and power necessary to create such materials, and what purposes they intended for the structures built from them. Gallio, the Colossus of Justice, embodies the most mysterious aspect of Demacian magical theory through his unique consciousness and his relationship with the Petricite that forms his body. His awareness during periods when he should be dormant, his knowledge of events occurring throughout the kingdom, and his ability to sense magical activities suggest that his consciousness operates according to principles that transcend normal understanding. The theory proposes that Gallio's consciousness represents something far more ancient and complex than a simple magical construct awakened by absorbed energy. His personality, his moral convictions, and his understanding of justice may derive from memories and experiences that predate his current form by millennia. These inherited memories could make him a repository of knowledge about cosmic forces and ancient conflicts that shaped reality's current structure. His periodic awakenings may serve purposes beyond responding to magical threats. Each activation allows him to observe changes in the kingdom's magical and political landscape, gathering information that feeds into some greater strategic calculation. The theory suggests that Gallio functions as both guardian and observer, protecting Demacia while simultaneously monitoring conditions for entities that require detailed intelligence about the kingdom's vulnerabilities and strengths. The Crown Guards, elite protectors of Demacian royalty, may serve interests that extend far beyond simple loyalty to the throne. Their selection process, their training methods, and their access to classified information position them as potential agents for forces that seek to control or monitor Demacian leadership from within. The theory proposes that the Crown Guards function as a parallel power structure that can override royal authority when necessary to serve cosmic purposes. The magical techniques employed by certain Crown Guards, their unusual resistance to various forms of enchantment, and their ability to coordinate across vast distances suggest enhancements that transcend normal human capability. These abilities may derive from exposure to the same forces responsible for creating Petricite, binding the guards to serving interests that may conflict with their conscious loyalties to the kingdom. Lux, the Lady of Luminosity, represents a crucial element in understanding how Demacian magical awakening serves larger cosmic purposes. Her spontaneous manifestation of light magic, her rapid mastery of complex techniques, and her connection to broader magical networks throughout Runeterra suggest that her awakening was carefully orchestrated rather than naturally occurring. The timing of her magical emergence coincides with increasing instability throughout the kingdom, leading to theories that her powers were activated to serve as a catalyst for broader magical revolution. Her noble birth and political connections position her perfectly to bridge the gap between Demasia's traditional power structure and the revolutionary forces led by Silas, potentially facilitating a transformation that serves neither faction's true interests. Her connection to cosmic forces may extend beyond simple light magic to encompass abilities that could reshape reality on fundamental levels. The techniques she displays, the scope of her potential power, and her instinctive understanding of magical theory suggest preparation for conflicts that will require capabilities far beyond what current threats seem to demand. The connection between Demasian anti-magic sentiment and preparation for cosmic threats reveals the most paradoxical aspect of the kingdom's theoretical purpose. Rather than representing ignorant fear of magical power, the systematic suppression of magic throughout Demacia may serve to concentrate and preserve magical energy for some ultimate purpose that requires enormous power reserves. The theory suggests that Demasia's role in approaching cosmic conflicts involves serving as a magical reservoir that can be tapped when conventional defenses prove insufficient. The centuries of accumulated magical energy stored within petricite structures, combined with the awakening powers of hidden mages throughout the kingdom, could provide the raw force necessary to power reality-altering techniques on a cosmic scale. The philosophical foundations of Demasian society, with their emphasis on order, justice, and collective sacrifice, may have been deliberately cultivated to create a population psychologically prepared for the ultimate sacrifice that cosmic defense might require. The willingness to subordinate individual desires to collective good, the acceptance of authority without question, and the faith in higher purposes all serve to prepare citizens for decisions that might require the sacrifice of the kingdom itself to preserve reality. The noble ideals that define Demasian culture may represent both genuine aspiration and carefully crafted preparation for moments when those ideals must be tested against cosmic necessity. In the gleaming towers and shining halls where justice is proclaimed and honor celebrated, the greatest deception may be the kindly lie that allows citizens to sleep peacefully, while cosmic forces arrange the pieces for conflicts that will determine whether their ideals survive to inspire future generations or perish in the collapse of everything they hold dear. The golden banners that fly above Demasian walls may flutter not just in celebration of past victories, but as signals to entities that watch from beyond mortal perception, marking the kingdom's readiness to fulfill its true purpose. In the cosmic struggles that approach like storm clouds gathering on reality's horizon, within the crimson halls of Noxus, where strength determines worth and ambition burns brighter than any flame, theories emerge that transform the Empire's brutal expansion from simple conquest into something far more calculated and cosmic in scope. The machinations that drive this military powerhouse may serve purposes that extend beyond territorial gain to encompass the very survival of reality itself. The demonic entity that whispers to Swain represents perhaps the most enigmatic aspect of Noxian theory. This mysterious patron grants the Grand General knowledge and power that transcends mortal understanding. But the true identity of this creature and its ultimate objectives remain shrouded in shadow. Evidence suggests that Swain's demon possesses intimate knowledge of cosmic forces, ancient prophecies, and approaching threats that require preparation on a scale that individual nations cannot achieve alone. The theory proposes that Swain's demonic benefactor belongs to a class of entities that exist between dimensions, beings capable of perceiving multiple timelines and possible futures simultaneously. This perspective would explain the demon's apparent ability to guide Noxian strategy toward outcomes that seem impossible to predict through conventional means. The expansion patterns favored by the Empire under Swain's leadership create strategic positions that will prove crucial in conflicts not yet begun, suggesting preparation for wars that most mortals cannot even imagine. The relationship between Swain and his demon transcends simple pacts for power, evolving into a partnership where each entity serves the other's interests in pursuing objectives that benefit both. The demon gains access to the physical realm through Swain's actions, while the Grand General receives guidance that ensures Noxus evolves into exactly the instrument required for cosmic conflicts. This symbiotic relationship may represent a new form of cooperation between dimensional entities and mortal leaders. The nature of the knowledge that flows from demon to general encompasses not just military strategy and political maneuvering, but understanding of magical forces, dimensional mechanics, and the fundamental structures that maintain reality's stability. This comprehensive education transforms Swain from a skilled commander into an agent of cosmic purpose. Though the question remains whether his conscious mind fully grasps the scope of the forces he serves. Noxian expansion serves purposes that extend far beyond creating a larger empire or accessing additional resources. The theory suggests that the systematic conquest of diverse regions allows the empire to gather magical knowledge, artifacts, and bloodlines that will prove essential when reality faces its greatest trials. Each conquered territory contributes unique elements to a growing collection of tools and capabilities that no single culture could develop alone. The Empire's policy of integrating successful enemies rather than simply destroying them ensures that valuable knowledge and techniques are preserved rather than lost. This approach creates a melting pot of magical traditions, military strategies, and technological innovations that combine in ways that produce capabilities greater than the sum of their parts. The diversity that results from this integration may be intentionally cultivated to create a civilization capable of adapting to any threat. The positioning of Noxian territories creates a network of strategic strongholds that could serve multiple purposes in cosmic conflicts. The Empire's borders encompass regions rich in magical resources, ancient ruins containing forgotten knowledge, and geographical features that could prove strategically vital when battles span multiple dimensions. This careful positioning suggests planning that extends decades or centuries into the future. LeBlanc, the Deceiver, emerges from theoretical analysis as potentially the most dangerous individual in Noxus, wielding influence that spans centuries and encompasses manipulations of staggering complexity. Her apparent immortality, combined with her mastery of illusion magic, positions her to orchestrate long-term strategies that individual mortals could never conceive or execute. The theory proposes that her centuries-spanning activities serve to guide civilization along paths that will maximize its chances of survival in approaching cosmic conflicts. Her manipulation of historical events, political movements, and individual destinies creates patterns too complex for normal perception to detect. Each intervention, each carefully placed illusion, each life altered by her influence, contributes to outcomes that may not become apparent for generations. The scope of her planning suggests either inhuman intelligence or access to information sources that transcend normal temporal limitations. The organization she leads operates according to principles that blend conventional espionage with magical manipulation on a scale that effectively rewrites history. The agents she employs may not even realize the true purposes they serve, acting out roles in a cosmic drama whose script was written long before their birth. The theory suggests that LeBlanc functions as both author and director of events that will determine whether civilization survives its ultimate test. Her ultimate objective may involve positioning key individuals and institutions to make precisely the right decisions at crucial moments when the margin for error becomes non-existent. The knowledge required to orchestrate such precise interventions implies either prophetic abilities or collaboration with entities that exist outside normal time streams. Either possibility transforms her from a political manipulator into an agent of cosmic significance. The connection between Noxian conquest and preparation for cosmic war reveals itself through patterns that emerge when viewing the Empire's activities on extended timescales. The territories targeted for conquest, the order in which campaigns are conducted, and the resources allocated to different objectives all serve to position Noxus as humanity's primary military force when conventional armies prove insufficient against dimensional threats. The Empire's emphasis on meritocracy over birthright creates a system that rapidly identifies and promotes individuals with exceptional abilities, regardless of their origins. This approach maximizes the likelihood that capable leaders will emerge when needed, while the competitive nature of Noxian society ensures that only the most adaptable and resourceful individuals rise to positions of authority. These qualities will prove essential when facing enemies that operate according to alien logic. The military innovations developed through constant warfare, the magical techniques refined through conquest of diverse cultures, and the organizational structures tested through managing a vast empire, all contribute to creating a civilization uniquely suited to cosmic conflict. The hardships endured by Noxian citizens serve as training for trials that will test not just physical strength, but mental resilience and adaptability on scales that peaceful societies cannot imagine. Mordekaiser's activities in the Death Realm represent a parallel preparation effort that may coordinate with earthly Noxian expansion to create a two-dimensional defense strategy. His construction of fortifications and gathering of undead armies in the realm beyond death suggests preparation for conflicts that will span multiple planes of existence. The knowledge he gains about dimensional mechanics through ruling a death realm could prove invaluable when reality's boundaries come under attack. The theory proposes that Mordekaiser's apparent opposition to earthly powers masks a deeper cooperation with forces that understand the cosmic scope of approaching threats. His periodic returns to the mortal realm may serve to coordinate preparations between dimensional layers, ensuring that defenses remain aligned across multiple planes of existence. The timing of his interventions suggests careful calculation rather than simple opportunism. His mastery of death magic and dimensional manipulation makes him uniquely qualified to defend reality's structural integrity when cosmic forces attempt to reshape existence according to their preferences. The armies he builds, the fortifications he constructs, and the techniques he develops all serve to create defensive capabilities that conventional military forces cannot match or counter. Vladimir's immortal existence and his influence over Noxian politics through centuries of manipulation reveal another thread in the Empire's cosmic preparation. His hemomantic abilities grant him access to memories and knowledge contained within blood, creating a living library of information that spans generations. This accumulated knowledge may include crucial details about past cosmic threats, successful defense strategies, and the locations of artifacts that could prove decisive in future conflicts. His network of influence throughout Noxian society ensures that important decisions can be guided by perspectives that encompass centuries of experience. The long-term planning enabled by his extended lifespan allows for strategies that normal human leaders could never conceive or execute. The theory suggests that Vladimir functions as both advisor and coordinator, ensuring that Noxian development serves purposes that extend far beyond immediate political objectives. The price of his immortality may bind him to serving cosmic forces that require his cooperation in exchange for continued existence. This relationship could transform his apparent selfishness into service to greater purposes, with his personal ambitions serving as motivation for activities that ultimately benefit reality's defense against existential threats. The Tripharics, Noxus's ruling council, may possess knowledge about cosmic threats that guides their policy decisions, even when such knowledge cannot be shared publicly. Their coordination of military, political, and magical resources creates a unified approach to preparation that maximizes efficiency while minimizing the risk of panic or social collapse. The theory proposes that the three-part structure ensures redundancy and prevents any single point of failure from compromising the Empire's cosmic mission. The balance between strength, guile, and vision that defines the Tripharics may reflect understanding of the different types of challenges that cosmic conflicts will present. Each aspect addresses different requirements for survival, creating a leadership structure capable of adapting to threats that change the fundamental rules of existence. The competition between these aspects ensures that preparation continues to evolve and improve, rather than stagnating in comfortable assumptions. In the Empire, where strength is the ultimate virtue and ambition drives every citizen toward greatness, the theories surrounding Noxian purpose reveal a nation unwittingly prepared for trials that will test not just military might, but the very foundations of what it means to exist. The crimson banners that fly above conquered cities may mark not just territorial claims, but outposts in a defensive network designed to preserve reality itself against forces that seek to reshape existence according to alien desires. Beneath the endless sands of Shurima, where ancient pyramids pierce the sky like golden needles and the memories of a lost empire whisper through desert winds, lie mysteries that connect mortal ambition to cosmic forces of staggering magnitude. The theories surrounding this desert realm reveal patterns of divine intervention and celestial manipulation that transform individual resurrections into movements of cosmic chess pieces across the board of reality. The resurrection of Azir represents far more than the return of a fallen emperor to reclaim his desert throne. The precision required to restore not just life, but consciousness, memory, and magical power to someone dead for millennia suggests intervention by forces operating on scales that transcend normal understanding of life and death. The theory proposes that Azir's return was orchestrated by celestial entities who recognized his essential role in conflicts that will determine reality's survival. The timing of his resurrection coincides with increasing instability across multiple dimensions, leading to speculation that cosmic forces deliberately chose this moment to restore one of history's most powerful ascended beings. The knowledge and abilities that Azir possesses, combined with his deep connection to Shuriman magic and ancient technologies, make him uniquely qualified to serve as a focal point for energies that will be required in approaching cosmic conflicts. His imperial ambitions to rebuild Shurima may mask a deeper purpose related to reconstructing defensive networks that once protected reality from dimensional incursions. The empire he seeks to restore may not be motivated by simple nostalgia or political ambition, but rather by cosmic necessity that requires the reactivation of ancient systems that have lain dormant since the empire's fall. The celestial forces responsible for Azir's resurrection may have been preparing for this moment across multiple centuries, carefully positioning events and individuals to ensure that the right catalyst would emerge at precisely the right time. The theory suggests that Azir's return represents the activation of a long-dormant contingency plan designed by beings with comprehensive understanding of cosmic threats and their timing. Zerath's imprisonment within the sarcophagus that bears his name creates a fascinating paradox that may serve cosmic purposes beyond simple punishment for his betrayal of Azir. His transformation into pure arcane energy, his retention of consciousness despite his altered state, and his continued ability to influence events from within his prison suggest that his imprisonment was designed to preserve rather than punish. The theory proposes that Zerath's current form makes him uniquely capable of interfacing with cosmic energies that would destroy normal matter. His existence as living magic allows him to serve as a conduit or translator between dimensional forces and the physical realm, potentially making him more valuable as a prisoner than he ever was as a free entity. The magical techniques required to create and maintain his prison suggest knowledge that transcends normal understanding of arcane theory. His periodic escapes and the chaos they create may serve to test and strengthen reality's defenses rather than simply causing destruction. Each manifestation of his power provides opportunities to observe how cosmic forces interact with physical matter, generating data that could prove crucial when facing threats that operate according to similar principles. The pattern of his appearances suggests careful calculation rather than random opportunity. The connection between Zerath's transformation and world-threatening entities becomes apparent when examining the similarities between his current state and the energy signatures associated with void creatures and other dimensional entities. His ability to manipulate reality through pure will, his resistance to conventional magical defenses, and his understanding of forces that normal minds cannot comprehend all mirror characteristics displayed by cosmic threats. The fate of the other ascended warriors, who served alongside Azir and Zerath during Shurima's Golden Age, remains one of the desert realm's greatest mysteries. These god warriors, transformed through exposure to celestial power into beings capable of challenging cosmic forces, may not have died during the Empire's collapse, but rather entered states of dormancy designed to preserve them for future necessity. The theory suggests that the surviving Ascended exist in hidden locations throughout Shurima, their consciousness preserved within specially designed chambers that maintain their life force while protecting them from the passage of time. The magic required to sustain such preservation would draw upon the same celestial energies that originally granted them their enhanced state, creating a network of sleeping guardians ready to awaken when cosmic threats require their intervention. The locations of these hidden chambers may be connected to astronomical events, ancient ley lines, and geographical features that will prove strategically important when dimensional barriers weaken. The positioning of these sites could create a defensive network spanning the entire desert realm, with each awakened ascended serving as a node in a magical array designed to channel cosmic forces for protective purposes. The criteria that will trigger their awakening may be encoded into the preservation magic itself, ensuring that they return to consciousness only when their specific abilities become necessary for reality's defense. This automated system would allow them to respond to threats even if normal communication channels fail, or if the entities responsible for their original transformation are no longer available to provide guidance. The sun disk that enabled the original ascension ceremonies draws its power from sources that connect directly to cosmic forces responsible for maintaining reality's structural integrity. The theory proposes that this ancient technology does not simply channel solar energy, but rather taps into the fundamental forces that power stars throughout the universe. This connection makes Shuriman magic potentially more powerful than any other magical tradition on Runeterra. The geometric patterns inscribed on the sun disk mirror configurations observed in other cosmic phenomena, suggesting that its creators possessed comprehensive understanding of universal principles that govern energy flow between dimensions. The precision required to create such patterns implies either divine inspiration or direct collaboration with entities that exist outside normal space-time limitations. The potential for reactivating the sun disk's full capabilities raises questions about what level of power could be channeled through properly conducted ceremonies. The original ascensions created beings capable of challenging armies and reshaping landscapes, but the theory suggests that the disk's complete activation could produce entities capable of opposing cosmic forces that threaten reality's fundamental structure. Nasus and Renekton, the surviving ascended brothers whose eternal conflict spans centuries, may be locked in struggle not because of madness or corruption, but because their opposition serves to maintain crucial balances within cosmic force networks. Their battle generates magical energies that help stabilize dimensional boundaries, while their opposing philosophies ensure that neither perspective becomes dominant enough to attract unwanted attention from cosmic predators. The knowledge that Nasus has accumulated through millennia of study makes him potentially the most informed mortal regarding cosmic threats and ancient defenses. His understanding of historical patterns, magical theory, and the connections between seemingly unrelated events positions him as a crucial advisor when reality faces its ultimate trials. The library he maintains may contain the only surviving records of successful resistance strategies employed against similar threats in ages past. Renekton's apparent madness may not represent simple corruption, but rather a psychological adaptation to knowledge that normal minds cannot process without breaking. His violent impulses and obsession with conflict could be manifestations of instinctive preparation for wars that will require brutality beyond normal moral constraints. The theory suggests that his madness serves to preserve his effectiveness as a warrior, while protecting his sanity from truths that would otherwise destroy his ability to function. Talia's connection to stone magic and her intuitive understanding of geological forces positions her as potentially crucial to activating ancient Shuriman defensive systems that operate through manipulation of tectonic forces. Her abilities may represent the awakening of bloodline traits that connect her to the original architects of Shurima's magical infrastructure, making her capable of accessing technologies that have remained dormant for millennia. The patterns she creates through her earth manipulation mirror designs found in ancient Shuriman architecture, suggesting that her magic operates according to principles encoded into the desert realm's fundamental structure. Her growing power and expanding understanding of geological manipulation may be preparing her for a role in conflicts that will require reshaping reality's physical foundations to accommodate defensive measures that operate on cosmic scales. The theory proposes that Talia represents a new generation of Shuriman magic users, whose abilities will prove essential when ancient technologies require operators capable of interfacing with both traditional magical techniques and cosmic forces. Her youth and adaptability make her uniquely suited to bridging the gap between historical knowledge and future necessities. The connection between Shuriman magic and the stability of reality's fundamental structure becomes apparent when examining the geological and astronomical alignments that govern the desert realm's magical phenomena. The positioning of ancient cities, the orientation of ceremonial sites, and the timing of mystical events all serve to reinforce cosmic forces that maintain dimensional boundaries and prevent unwanted incursions. The theory suggests that Shurima was originally designed to function as a massive magical stabilization system, using the desert's unique properties and astronomical position to channel cosmic energies in ways that strengthen reality's defensive capabilities. The Empire's political and military power may have been secondary considerations, with the primary purpose being the maintenance and operation of systems crucial to universal stability. The gradual reawakening of Shuriman magic, the return of powerful entities like Azir, and the emergence of new practitioners like Talia may represent the automatic reactivation of ancient protocols designed to restore defensive capabilities when cosmic threats approach critical thresholds. In the Golden Sands, where emperors once commanded the power of stars and god warriors strode across battlefields like living legends, the destiny of existence itself may rest upon whether the desert realm can reclaim its cosmic purpose before reality faces its ultimate test. Within the mystical archipelago of Ionia, where cherry blossoms drift on winds that carry whispers from the spirit realm and ancient magic flows through every living thing, theories emerge that reveal connections between mortal disciplines and cosmic forces of extraordinary subtlety. The balance that defines Ionian philosophy may represent far more than cultural wisdom, extending into fundamental principles that maintain reality's stability against forces that seek to corrupt existence from within. The wind techniques mastered by Yasuo represent a connection to primordial forces that predate human civilization and may derive from the first movements of air that accompanied reality's birth. His ability to manipulate atmospheric currents with such precision, to walk upon the wind itself, and to channel elemental fury through his blade, suggests access to knowledge that transcends normal martial training. The theory proposes that Yasuo's techniques tap into the same cosmic forces responsible for maintaining the delicate balance between order and chaos throughout the universe. The specific patterns of movement required to generate and control these wind currents mirror configurations observed in cosmic phenomena, suggesting that Yasuo's fighting style operates according to universal principles rather than simple physical manipulation. His understanding of these patterns may be instinctive rather than learned, indicating a bloodline connection to beings who helped establish reality's fundamental structure during the earliest epochs of existence. The sword techniques he employs channel wind energy in ways that affect not just physical opponents, but spiritual entities as well, demonstrating abilities that bridge multiple dimensions of existence. This cross-dimensional effectiveness implies that his martial arts training involved exposure to knowledge about the nature of reality itself, possibly through interactions with spirit realm entities who understand the connections between physical and metaphysical forces. The guilt and redemption that define Yasuo's personal journey may serve cosmic purposes by ensuring that such powerful abilities remain guided by moral principles rather than pure ambition. The emotional trials he endures create psychological safeguards that prevent the misuse of techniques capable of affecting reality's fundamental balance, transforming personal growth into cosmic responsibility. Karma's cycle of reincarnation represents one of the most fascinating aspects of Ionian theory, through its implications for consciousness, memory, and the nature of identity across multiple lifetimes. Each incarnation carries forward accumulated wisdom and experience while adapting to new circumstances and challenges, creating a continuity of purpose that spans centuries or millennia. The theory suggests that this reincarnation cycle serves to maintain crucial knowledge and abilities that reality requires for its long-term stability. The selection process that determines who becomes the next karma may involve cosmic forces rather than simple spiritual succession, with each incarnation chosen specifically for the challenges that particular era will present. The timing of transitions between incarnations coincides with periods of increasing instability, suggesting that cosmic entities monitor conditions and arrange for new leadership when approaching threats, require different capabilities or perspectives. The memories and abilities that transfer between incarnations include not just spiritual wisdom, but practical knowledge about dimensional mechanics, cosmic threats, and defensive strategies that have proven effective in past conflicts. This accumulated expertise makes each karma potentially invaluable as both advisor and active participant in conflicts that transcend normal political or military categories. The magical techniques available to karma draw upon sources that connect directly to the spirit realm's deepest layers, allowing her to channel energies that affect both physical and spiritual entities simultaneously. This dual realm effectiveness positions her as uniquely capable of coordinating defenses that must operate across multiple dimensions when reality faces threats that cannot be confined to single planes of existence. The spirit realm itself presents the greatest mystery in understanding Ionian magical theory, through its complex relationship with physical reality and its role as a bridge between dimensions. This mystical space exists parallel to the material world, while maintaining connections that allow for limited interaction and influence between realms. The theory proposes that the spirit realm serves as a buffer zone that protects reality from direct contact with forces that would prove catastrophically destructive if allowed unfiltered access. The entities that inhabit the spirit realm may not be simple nature spirits or ancestor ghosts, but rather fragments of consciousness that were deliberately separated from cosmic forces to prevent their complete manifestation in physical reality. These spiritual beings serve as both guardians and early warning systems, monitoring dimensional boundaries for signs of intrusion or corruption that could threaten the stability of existence itself. The rituals and practices that allow mortals to interact with the spirit realm create controlled opportunities for exchange of information and energy between dimensions, without compromising the protective barriers that keep dangerous forces at bay. The specific techniques required to achieve such interaction suggest knowledge about dimensional mechanics that few cultures have developed or preserved. The balance maintained between physical and spiritual realms through Ionian magical practices may be essential to preventing cosmic forces from gaining footholds that could be expanded into full dimensional incursions. Each properly conducted ritual, each successful communication with spirit realm entities, reinforces the boundaries that protect reality while allowing beneficial exchanges to continue. Jin's artistic philosophy and his obsession with the number 4 reveal connections to cosmic patterns that suggest his activities serve purposes beyond simple aesthetic expression or psychological compulsion. The precision with which he plans and executes his performances, the mathematical relationships between his chosen targets, and the timing of his activities all point toward involvement in a grand design that transcends individual artistic vision. The theory proposes that Jin's concept of art involves the manipulation of probability and causality through carefully orchestrated events that appear random but actually serve to adjust reality's trajectory toward specific outcomes. Each performance, each precisely timed death, creates ripple effects that influence subsequent events in ways that serve cosmic purposes he may not consciously understand. His obsession with perfection and his refusal to create anything less than masterful works may reflect instinctive understanding that his activities affect fundamental forces requiring absolute precision. The slightest miscalculation in timing, target selection, or execution method could produce consequences that cascade through multiple dimensions, making his perfectionist tendencies essential safeguards rather than simple artistic preferences. The psychological compulsions that drive his behavior may be artificial implants designed to ensure his continued participation in activities that serve cosmic necessity while preventing his conscious mind from grasping the true scope of his role. This would explain both his artistic brilliance and his inability to resist the urge to create new performances, despite the obvious risks. Master Yi's guardianship of ancient Ionian knowledge positions him as potentially crucial to accessing defensive techniques and technologies that will prove necessary when conventional methods fail against cosmic threats. The martial arts traditions he preserves may contain encoded instructions for activating dormant magical systems, coordinating with spirit realm entities, or channeling cosmic forces through human consciousness and physical discipline. The meditative practices he employs create states of consciousness that transcend normal human limitations, potentially allowing communication with entities that exist outside conventional space-time boundaries. These expanded awareness states could provide access to strategic information about approaching threats, guidance on defensive preparations, or coordination with allies operating in dimensions beyond normal perception. His role as the last practitioner of certain ancient techniques makes him irreplaceable in conflicts that will require every available defensive capability. The knowledge he carries represents centuries of accumulated wisdom about how to harmonize human abilities with cosmic forces, creating synergies that produce effects far greater than either could achieve alone. The training methods he continues to develop and refine may be unconsciously guided by cosmic forces that understand exactly what capabilities will be required when reality faces its ultimate challenges. His dedication to perfecting these techniques ensures that crucial abilities remain sharp and ready for application when the moment of greatest need arrives. The Kinko Order's mission to maintain balance between realms takes on cosmic significance when viewed as a defensive network designed to monitor and respond to threats that operate across multiple dimensions. Their understanding of harmony between physical and spiritual forces positions them as uniquely qualified to detect subtle signs of cosmic manipulation that more conventional intelligence networks would miss entirely. The philosophical principles that guide Kinko activities may encode practical instructions for maintaining dimensional stability through careful management of energy flows between realms. Each successful mission, each properly maintained balance point, contributes to reinforcing the cosmic structure that prevents catastrophic dimensional collapse or unwanted merging of incompatible realities. Their training in both martial and mystical disciplines creates operatives capable of functioning effectively across multiple planes of existence, making them invaluable for missions that require intervention in conflicts, spanning several dimensions simultaneously. The versatility they develop through this comprehensive preparation ensures adaptability when facing enemies that operate according to alien logic or physics. The connection between Ionian magical practices and the prevention of universal collapse reveals itself through the archipelago's role as a testing ground for techniques that harmonize opposing forces rather than simply overpowering them. This approach to conflict resolution may represent the only sustainable method for addressing cosmic threats that are too powerful to defeat through direct confrontation. The theory suggests that Ionia serves as both laboratory and sanctuary for developing wisdom that will prove essential when reality requires healing rather than warfare, balance rather than victory, and harmony rather than domination. In the tranquil gardens where spirits walk among mortals and ancient wisdom flows like mountain streams through generations of dedicated practitioners, the keys to existence's survival may rest not in weapons of war, but in the gentle arts that teach how opposing forces can dance together rather than destroy each other in futile conflict. In the deepest layers of theoretical understanding, where individual champion stories merge into a singular narrative of cosmic significance, emerges the most comprehensive and unsettling possibility of all. The grand theory that encompasses every conflict, every awakening, and every mysterious event across Runeterra suggests that all paths lead inexorably toward one ultimate confrontation that will determine whether reality itself survives or succumbs to the endless hunger of the void. This convergence theory proposes that every major storyline unfolding across the world serves as preparation for the final Void War, a conflict so vast in scope and devastating in potential that it requires the coordinated response of every civilization, every magical tradition, and every awakened champion. The seemingly separate struggles of nations and individuals begin to reveal their interconnected nature when viewed through the lens of cosmic necessity, suggesting that forces beyond mortal comprehension have been orchestrating events to maximize the chances of reality's survival. The positioning of champions across different regions creates a defensive network that spans the entire world, with each individual's unique abilities filling crucial roles in a strategy too complex for any single mind to conceive. Demasia's magical reserves, Noxus's military might, Shurima's celestial connections, Freljord's ancient guardians, Ionia's spiritual balance, and the Shadow Isle's understanding of dimensional boundaries all contribute essential elements to a comprehensive defense that no single nation could provide alone. The theory suggests that the conflicts between these regions serve to strengthen each civilization's unique capabilities, while preventing any single power from becoming dominant enough to attract premature attention from void entities. The wars, political upheavals, and magical catastrophes that have shaped history create conditions that force rapid development of defensive abilities while maintaining the appearance of chaotic struggle rather than coordinated preparation. Every champion's personal journey of growth and awakening follows patterns that develop precisely the skills and knowledge required for confronting enemies that operate according to alien logic. The trials they endure, the losses they suffer, and the wisdom they gain transform ordinary individuals into beings capable of standing against cosmic forces that would drive normal minds to madness through mere contact. The magical artifacts scattered throughout the world, from Damasian petricite to Shuriman sun disks, from darkened weapons to Freljordian true ice, represent components of a vast defensive array designed to channel and focus power on scales necessary for cosmic warfare. Each artifact's placement follows strategic considerations that create overlapping fields of influence capable of reinforcing reality's structure when dimensional boundaries come under attack. The emergence of specific champions at particular moments in history suggests coordination by entities with comprehensive understanding of cosmic timelines and the precise capabilities required at each stage of preparation. The timing of Azir's resurrection. Silas's awakening, and countless other pivotal events creates a sequence that maximizes readiness, while minimizing premature exposure to threats that could overwhelm unprepared defenses. The relationships between champions, both alliances and conflicts, serve to create emotional bonds and strategic partnerships that will prove crucial when facing enemies that seek to divide and conquer through manipulation of psychological weaknesses. The trust built through shared struggles, the understanding developed through conflict resolution, and the loyalty forged through mutual sacrifice create social structures resilient enough to withstand the psychological warfare that void entities employ as their primary weapon. The various corruptions and transformations that have affected different regions serve as inoculations against more severe forms of dimensional contamination. The Shadow Isles' exposure to death magic, the Darken's experience with cosmic forces, and similar contaminations create populations with acquired resistance to techniques that void entities use to convert healthy reality into extensions of their alien realm. The theory proposes that some champions unknowingly serve void interests through actions that appear beneficial, but actually weaken reality's defenses in subtle ways. The gradual erosion of traditional power structures, the mixing of incompatible magical systems, and the breaking down of barriers between realms create vulnerabilities that void entities can exploit when the time comes for direct invasion. These unwitting servants may include champions whose motivations appear noble, but whose methods systematically undermine the cosmic order necessary for reality's stability. Their sincere belief in their causes makes them more effective tools than deliberate collaborators, as their genuine conviction masks the true nature of their activities from both themselves and potential opponents. The identification of which champions serve void interests, whether consciously or unconsciously, becomes crucial for understanding how the final conflict will unfold. The theory suggests that the ultimate betrayals will come not from obvious villains, but from heroes whose corrupted judgment leads them to make decisions that serve cosmic enemies while believing they act in humanity's best interests. The connection between player actions in the game environment and canonical events in the lore creates a fascinating possibility that the Summoner's Rift itself serves as a training ground for the cosmic conflict to come. Each match played, each strategy tested, and each combination of champion abilities explored contributes to a vast database of tactical knowledge that will prove essential when facing enemies whose capabilities remain largely unknown. The endless variations of team compositions, item builds, and strategic approaches create a comprehensive exploration of every possible combination of defensive capabilities. This massive experimental process ensures that when champions must coordinate against cosmic threats, they possess practical experience with every possible tactical configuration that their combined abilities can produce. The metagame that develops through player experimentation reveals optimal strategies and countermeasures that may not be apparent through theoretical analysis alone. The collective intelligence of millions of players working through countless scenarios creates a tactical encyclopedia that encompasses responses to every conceivable threat scenario. The theory suggests that the barrier between game and reality is more permeable than generally acknowledged, with successful strategies and champion interactions in the gaming environment, influencing the development of actual defensive preparations in the canonical universe. This connection transforms player participation from passive entertainment into active contribution to cosmic defense planning. The Summoner's Rift's 5 versus 5 structure may represent the optimal team size for confronting void entities, with each position corresponding to specific roles required for successful resistance. The lane assignments, jungle control, and objective priorities that define successful play mirror strategic considerations that will prove essential when defending reality against cosmic invasion. The ultimate fate of Runeterra, based on all interconnected theories, depends on whether the scattered champions can overcome their differences, recognize their common enemy, and coordinate their unique abilities into a unified response capable of matching cosmic-scale threats. The theory suggests that success requires not just military victory, but the evolution of consciousness itself to levels capable of comprehending and countering alien forms of existence. The final confrontation may not take place on any single battlefield, but rather across multiple dimensions simultaneously, with different groups of champions engaging void forces on various planes of existence, while others work to maintain the structural integrity of reality itself. The complexity of such multi-dimensional warfare requires preparation that encompasses every aspect of magical, military, and spiritual development. The victory conditions for this cosmic conflict may not involve the complete destruction of void entities, but rather the restoration of balance between creation and entropy that existed before the current crisis began. This would require wisdom that transcends simple warfare, encompassing understanding of cosmic forces that few mortal minds can grasp without losing their sanity. The theory concludes that the ultimate test facing Runeterra is not whether its champions can become powerful enough to defeat cosmic enemies, but whether they can become wise enough to find solutions that preserve both reality and the essential principles that make existence meaningful. In the convergence of all storylines toward this singular moment of cosmic significance, the fate of existence itself hangs upon choices that will echo through dimensions beyond counting, determining whether the dance of creation continues or falls silent in the endless hunger of the void. As our journey through the labyrinth of League of Legends theories draws to its gentle close, we find ourselves not with definitive answers, but with a profound appreciation for the intricate tapestry of possibilities that these speculations weave throughout Runeterra's rich narrative landscape. Each theory we have explored tonight represents more than simple fan conjecture, embodying instead the collective imagination of countless minds seeking to understand the deeper patterns that connect champions, regions, and cosmic forces across this beloved universe. The beauty of these mysteries lies not in their resolution, but in their invitation to perceive connections where others might see only chaos, to discover meaning in the spaces between established facts, and to recognize that even fictional worlds can contain truths about the nature of existence itself. Through theories about cosmic conspiracies and dimensional threats, we glimpse reflections of our own universe's greatest questions about purpose, meaning, and the forces that shape reality across scales both intimate and infinite. These interconnected speculations demonstrate how storytelling at its finest creates frameworks robust enough to support endless interpretation and exploration. The theories we have shared tonight, represent just a fraction of the countless possibilities that emerge when passionate communities engage deeply with narrative worlds complex enough to reward such attention. Each connection discovered, each pattern recognized, and each mystery pondered adds new layers of richness to experiences that continue evolving long after the original creators have moved on to other projects. The champions whose stories we have woven together through theoretical thread exist as more than simple characters in a game, transformed through community imagination into archetypal figures whose struggles and triumphs resonate with universal themes that speak to something fundamental in the human experience. Their battles against cosmic forces mirror our own confrontations with uncertainty. Their searches for meaning echo our own philosophical quests, and their connections to powers beyond comprehension reflect our own relationship with mysteries that remain forever beyond complete understanding. As sleep approaches and consciousness begins its own journey into realms where logic bends and impossibilities become commonplace, carry with you the sense that even in worlds of pure imagination, the greatest adventures often unfold not in grand battles or dramatic revelations, but in the quiet moments of recognition when seemingly separate elements suddenly reveal their hidden connections. The theories that captivate us most deeply are those that transform isolated incidents into meaningful patterns, individual struggles into universal truths, and simple stories into profound meditations on the nature of existence itself. In the gentle transition from waking thought to peaceful dreams, remember that the most enduring mysteries are those that continue to inspire new questions rather than providing final answers, that invite exploration rather than demanding belief, and that recognize wonder as more valuable than certainty. The endless possibilities that emerge from deep engagement with beloved fictional worlds remind us that imagination itself represents one of consciousness's most remarkable capabilities, transforming simple entertainment into opportunities for philosophical reflection and emotional growth. Rest now in the knowledge that tomorrow will bring new theories to consider, new connections to explore, and new mysteries to contemplate. For the wellspring of human curiosity about the stories we love proves as inexhaustible as the cosmic forces that these theories attempt to comprehend and explain.